Hi everybody and welcome back to Borderlines today. Now, today we're going to talk about something I wasn't actually expecting to ever do, but we had an inquiry recently asking us, because I did a London versus Zurich video recently, difference in costs and everything, which was more about a comeback from a comment somebody said. We've also been asked to do a series of them about other cities around the world. So today we're going to do London versus New York City. Okay, so most of the cities that we've been asked to do, I've never been to a single one of them, so I've had to do a lot of research before doing it. Okay, so let's get into it and then let's see which is the cheaper place to be, London versus New York City. Okay, so what we're going to first take a look at is the average house price. Okay, so we're doing New York City rather than New York State because New York State is a large place, very densely populated. Okay, so let's take a look. So first of all, what's the average house price? Now in London, okay, now this is all in pounds. I've converted it from dollars to pounds. So in London, the average house price currently, as things stand in 2025, is £673,000. Okay, so how does that equate against New York? To be honest, it's not too bad because I was expecting, because normally when you think of New York, you think of these, a lot of apartments, high prices, a lot of multi-millionaires buying properties in New York City, especially in Manhattan. So when we actually worked it out, I was actually quite surprised how cheap it actually is, because the average house price is actually less than in London, because the average house price in New York City is £658,000. Okay, but this is the thing that surprised me. Okay, and I still can't work this out. So if somebody can work this out for me, I can't work it out. Because then we thought, right, let's go and take a look at the average house price per square metre. See how you're doing, bang for your buck at the end of the day. Because everybody wants to maximise what they're getting for their money at the end of the day in the society that we are at the moment. So in London, on average, okay, you're paying about £7,000 per square metre that you get. Okay, and this is the irony. In New York City, you're paying £1,884. You're paying over 3 times more money per square metre than you do in New York. That is absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe that. It's nearly 4 times the amount of money that you're actually paying on a square meterage. Can't understand that. If somebody can explain it to me, I'll happily listen to you for whatever you can come up with. So next, the average household in the UK and around the world, we all talk about 3.2 children, something that everybody speaks about. Okay, most families nowadays, okay, especially in the Western world, okay, are going to have 3 children. Okay, so the most common property bought is a 3-bedroom house. Okay, so how much? So in London, the average 3-bedroom property currently, as of February 2025, okay, I ain't got stats for March yet, is at around about 775 grand. Okay, how does that stack up within New York? Sorry for all you New Yorkers, you're paying more than you would in London. Substantially more. Just under 1.1 million. It's £1,080,000. The average 3-bedroom house. Now, obviously, a lot of those aren't going to be in Manhattan, but the ones that are in Manhattan are going to push up the price. It's no different in London. If you're getting a 3-bedroom property, you know, I don't know, somewhere like Chelsea or Knightsbridge, somewhere like that, which is just stupidly priced. You know, I've got family that have lived in Chelsea before, so I know how much they paid for that, roughly how much they paid for the houses anyway. It's ridiculous money at the end of the day, you know. So that is the average price as of last month. Okay, so what about renting? Not all of us can afford to buy. I certainly ain't got a spare. You know, if I wanted to live in London, I ain't got a spare 800 grand. You know, my kids seem to think I have, but unfortunately I don't. So, would renting be more affordable? Wow. The reality is there's not much of a difference. Now, New York is more expensive to rent in. There's no hiding away from that. Okay, because the average rental in London, as things stands at the moment, is just literally just under £2,700. That's ridiculous. When you take as an example, you know, I've looked at rentals around outside of London. Okay, I've done videos about it recently. If you take, for instance, Bournemouth and Brighton, they're about £1,700. That's the average rental. Okay, if you come down to where I grew up, Southampton, which is what, about 100 miles from London, you know, you're looking at just under £1,000. Portsmouth, just under £1,000. You know, I think Winchester is about £1,800 yet again, which is one of the more expensive. I think it's £1,800 it averages out at. Okay, so London, you are looking at £2,700. But New York City, how's New York do? Over £3,000 the average rent. Okay, absolutely ridiculous. How on earth is somebody supposed to afford rent of over £3,000? I do apologise. Okay, and this is how. When you take a look at the wages, and this absolutely blew my mind. Okay, I was actually surprised by this. Okay, how big the difference in wages is from London to New York. Okay, everybody knows that there's a lot of money in America. That's no secret. That's enough. That doesn't surprise anybody in the least. Okay, so what we're going to do is take a look at wages, and we'll also look at tax differences. Okay, so in London, okay, if you're living in London and working in London itself, the average wage, as things stands at the moment, is £44,370, which is a lot less than I was expecting. I was expecting it to be nearer 50 to 60 grand. And the main reason is because obviously you've got the banking sector, insurance, all that type of stuff. You've got a lot of CEOs, owners of companies, all that type of stuff. Okay, so I was expecting it to come up around about 50 to 60,000 pounds, if not higher. So when it came in at 44,000, latest statistics, me personally, I was surprised it was that low. Okay, but how does that weigh up when you take, for instance, New York City? Well, London is way short. Okay, and when I say London is way short, I mean it is seriously a lot less. As in, like, about £30,000 less you earn in London compared to New York. Okay, where the average wage in New York is just over £78,000, but they also pay more in the way of tax. So in London, if you're earning under 50 grand, which the average person is, okay, you're only going to be paying 20% tax and national insurance. So you're not going to be paying a great deal in the way of tax at the end of the day. Where in New York, with the way that their system runs, so you pay 23% income tax on your wages to federal government. Then obviously you pay another 3.88%, which the New York State charge you on your wages as well. Okay, so in total, you're going to be paying 26.88% as things stand at the moment. Okay. And when you look at all of that and you take a look at population, there's only like 500,000 between the two cities. So the other thing that we wanted to compare, which was a question of which is better to actually live in, New York or London, you know, which is more expensive, which is cheaper, which do you get more bang for your buck at the end of the day. We had to take a look at medical care at the end of the day, because at some stage in your life, everybody's going to have to go to the hospital, or they're going to have to go to their GP. You know, not everybody in the world has perfect health from the day that they're born to the day that they die. Well, if they've got kids and a family, you know, might have a husband or a wife, whatever whatever sex you are at the end of the day, okay, some member of your family is bound to end up going. Now, the reality is, in the UK, obviously, we have the NHS. If you want to go private, you can go private. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. I know plenty of people have gone private because they want to get treated so much quicker than the NHS. As a general rule, at the moment, with how incompetent our current government and our previous government were, and how badly that they've run it for the best part of 10 years, you know, how badly it's been done. So a lot of people do go private. But at the end of the day, you do have the NHS there, whether it's for going to your local GP because you've got like a cough or cold or something, or you've taken a fall and broken your arm, or you've broken your leg, or you've got something more serious, you can go to the NHS and rely on that. But when it comes to New York, this is when you're going to be out a penny, and you're going to be out a penny to quite a large tune at the end of the day, because at the end of the day you are going to have to get insurance. So yeah, like I say, you are going to have to get insurance, and if you don't get insurance, I actually took a look to see how much it will cost on average in America if you don't have insurance for any medical care. Okay, and the costs are ridiculous. So if you want an appointment with a GP or physician, whatever you want to call it, that will cost you in America anywhere from $150 to $300 just to be seen by a GP. So see a pediatrician, anywhere from $100 to $200. To have a blood test, you're looking up to $100 yet again. Now, I'm going to skip straight to the big ones. The ones where a lot of people end up going to the hospital, the A&E department. Sprained or broken wrist, non-surgical, not needing an operation, arguably just needing it put in plaster or something, maybe an x-ray, and a broken ankle. So how much does that cost realistically? So for a broken ankle, okay, it is going to cost you, okay, I'm just going to get the conversion. In America, anywhere from 386 quid. £386. And maybe you could say that's us in the UK being a bit greedy because we're used to having it our own way. And if it's a broken wrist, go and double it. So you're looking at the best part of what, £700-800 upwards, depending on the degree of it. So from that point of view, So if you take the medical side, you're better off being in the UK, especially if you've got lots of kids. Okay, you're certainly better off being in the UK. Now, if you're looking at just wages and how much you earn, as it there, you're better off being in New York. If you look at the housing costs, there's nothing really in it. You know, it swings both ways. You know, the average house price, there's only about 15 grand in it. Next to nothing in it. If you're looking at the average cost of a 3-bedroom house. Now, the problem is you're going out into the boroughs of New York, okay, to actually find the 3 bedrooms. You're not generally going to find them in the heart of New York City, where you're looking at Manhattan or somewhere like that. You're not generally going to find them. You will get them, but as you get closer to Manhattan, prices are going to go straight up through the roof. It's no different to in London. Go to Chelsea, go to Knightsbridge, anywhere like that, prices go straight up through the roof. So, and when you take a look at the tax differences, there's not a great deal in it either. Yes, you pay a higher amount of tax, but as I don't know how they do it as a percentage, okay, I'm actually going to say it's pretty much even. There's next to nothing in it. So when you go New York versus London, which is better, if you're in business, I would say you're better off in New York. If you're a family person, family man or family woman, whatever, you're probably better off in the UK. So then it means looking at what can New York offer you, but London can't. So this is the way to look at it. We're going to look at sports. A lot of the big teams in the UK are in London. I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. You got Chelsea. You got Tottenham. You got Arsenal. You got West Ham. I'm going to leave a lot out. You're going to have the rivals. You're going to have Millwall, and you're going to have your Charlton. So, and all of those teams, they're all in London. Okay. Now, obviously, football's not as big in America, but what do they have? They have American football. So you have the New York Giants, you have the New York Jets. They have baseball, so you have the Yankees. So they've got 3 big teams straight away in New York. So when you look at sports, you know, they both go hand in hand. So it's still difficult to say which one's better. If you go for the theatre, for things to do, you've got the West End in London. You've got exactly the same thing in New York. So I'm actually finding it difficult to actually say which city's better, because a lot of it's going to boil down to what do you actually want. And even if you're going to say, yeah, but London's crowded, you could put the same argument for New York. Population-wise, you're only looking at 500,000 in it. So there's next to nothing in it to say which city's better. So I'm going to, and I'm finding this hard to actually even give it, because I was going to say, because of the crime problems, in New York that they've had over the years, but London's better. But London's had a lot of problems with stabbings in recent years. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it out there for you. Which city do you think is the better city? Which one, if you could live in either city, which city would you pick? Would you pick London? And I've spent a lot of time in London over the years because I have family in London. Or would you pick New York City? Which one would you pick? Let us know in the comments down below. Obviously, if you are new to the channel, if you could also please subscribe, I would appreciate it. But for now, thanks for watching. And we'll speak to you on the next one, which we're going to be looking at comparing Next two is going to be Los Angeles and San Francisco. But for now, thanks for watching, and we'll speak to you later.